Did it do it? Did it work? Are we live? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you guys. Wow, we just had a moment. I'll share that with you in a minute. But first of all, thank you guys for being here. We are live, like legit. You're going to see the dogs running around. You may hear Easton over there. He's having his breakfast. Alyssa's here. There went Daisy. Yeah, so we are attempting this for the first time since Eric passed to go live. We did our pre-recorded message 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, just to kind of keep everybody updated with what happened. I'm not going to go into all of that again, but he is with us. Here's his wedding ring right here's on my necklace. Always going to be close to my heart. He is here with us in some ways, I hope. Make sure I push the right buttons. But we are going to have our show today. We're going to talk about the things that we typically talk about. Real estate, little personal scattered in as well. But mostly, again, just thank you guys so much for joining in and hanging out with me for this next little bit. So hopefully you guys all had, I say a good weekend because it is Monday, although I have to be honest, I probably for the past month, like all of January and now into what is today, February? Is it the 3rd? February 3rd. Don't really know what day of the week it is. That's kind of always been a thing with me anyway. With real estate, we don't really get weekends off. So there's really no way or day that you can reset your life or reset your schedule. It's just kind of this perpetual like merry-go-round, Ferris wheel type thing. You're just spin, 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 spin. But it's been really bad lately. I just don't know what day it is. So I've been living and breathing by the calendar and making sure that I put things on there to help keep me straight. But Monday morning coffee time was at least the one anchor that would sort of get me straight to start the week. Although by Monday evening, I was certain it was already Tuesday. But we are here. We are live. You are with us, and we are grateful. Alyssa is here. Like I said, she's over there with Mr. Easton having some breakfast. Hopefully I will, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. Daryl and Jen came over last night and visited for a little bit. And I told them I was so worried. I was like, honestly, if it just goes live, I'll be fine. Like if my buttons don't work or if things don't happen the way they're supposed to, that'll be fine. I can just sit here and talk to you. Although I don't laugh, but I can't find the cursor. Oh, I found it. Okay, good. Remember how that was the thing? Oh, hi, Jen. Hey, Daryl. Yeah, so I found it though, Allie. Don't worry. I'm good. So I have to tell you what just happened. Okay, so pre-coffee time, we took the dogs out. We have a few extra dogs because Alyssa and Hong are here. So we have Jenny and Zoe with us. So extra dogs, so extra barking power. So they went outside and do you have the picture? Oh my gosh. So Alyssa took the dogs out. I was getting everything prepped and ready. And the dogs are barking like crazy, like the kind of bark, like not just somebody strolling their dog, not somebody jogging by, not some kids kind of standing there staring at the dogs, like the kind of bark, like get out, this is my turf. So Alyssa was in the back. I was like, my gosh, what is going on? So I went out to the front yard thinking, is there somebody that's just standing there, like antagonizing the dogs? Like, come on, people, I got coffee time to do. Nobody was standing out front. So I came back in and I walked around and the dogs are barking at this. I don't know if you can see it. This armadillo, literally this mass, it's got to be an armadillo. I mean, I can't imagine it's anything else. It's got the little, oh my gosh, look at that. That was trying to get underneath of our fence. So our dogs were freaking the mess out. So they're like, invader, invader, invader. And it was like kind of trying to burrow through on the outside of our fence, trying to burrow under our fence into the yard. Now, if you live here, you know that this is a place where we have a lot of voles, not so much moles, but voles with a V. They wreak havoc in this area. Whenever you walk outside, you'll see like a mound of fresh dirt and a hole. You're like, what the heck happened? It's typically a vole that has just done its thing, and now you've got all this fresh dirt. And they're all over the place, and there's really not a heck of a lot you can do. We've got these, what do you call them? Like it's not sonar, but it's some kind of a little thing that like buzzes, and it kind of deters them to go away. sometimes you just, I don't like to ever kill a creature. I don't want to do that. We just try to get them to go in a different direction. But there are poison baits that you can do for them. But we just do the little sonar thing so they could go bzzz all over the yard. This creature, the first time I've seen this, so I am mesmerized. So I feel like I'm sort of late to coffee time and a little bit scattered because we were literally standing in the yard just a couple minutes ago waiting for it. We finally got the dogs in. So Alyssa came out and I'm like, well, what do I do? I don't want it to burrow itself under the ground into our yard because our dogs are going to, yes, sir. Easton agrees. I was worried about that. So we took a shovel and I just kind of put it down in the hole to and it backed up and it scurried away. But oh my gosh, so way too much excitement on this Monday morning. Anyway, so that was how it started. So how did your morning start? And here is my coffee mug. I want to thank my clients for sending me this perfect mug. It's a hug in a mug. I love it. I need it. It was a really sweet little care package. It was a hug in a box, and it had I think it was a soft little blanket and a candle and some soaps and a coffee mug and some little fluffy socks and things like that. It was just very sweet. So thank you so much. I love my new mug. Actually, it's perfect because I need the hug in a mug. Can I tell you, I'm not gonna talk a lot about the Eric stuff because I can't. I have to compartmentalize as much as I can. But there are things that I think about all the time, oh my gosh, no one's gonna hold my hand again. That's my partner. That's my person. Things like that are the hard ones. So the hug in the mug is good. I'll just take my hug right here and I'll keep him close. Okay, so let's move on. So we have we have buttons to push. Oh, please. Okay, I'm going to push my buttons. Ready? Let's see what's brewing today. Okay, so we have our 3 brewing topics today, guys. We have spring is in the air. Does perfect exist? And some spring cleaning. We're going to talk about those today. So first of all, spring is in the air. So what we're talking about here is, first of all, we all know the snow that was happening not too long ago. You probably saw on the news that even in Sarasota, Florida, people were taking snow blowers and blowing the snow off of their screened-in pool areas and lanais because even parts of Florida got snow. It was pretty stinking cold here, and I think even by, I always say Virginia standards, right? Because that's where I'm from. So even Virginia standards, it was still cold here. We have a joke about Florida standards of cold as if it's 60 degrees. We're ooh, it's cold. But it was legitimately cold here. But things have changed. We are back to beautiful spring weather. It's been absolutely gorgeous. A little overcast a couple days, but temperatures are warming back up. Yesterday, I was with some clients and we were standing in the backyard of a property, and as we were standing there, the sun just started to hit our face. I'm we're back to kind of that sun, that warmth, and it's beautiful. So spring is in the air. So the weather is getting better here. Now I know for some of you, wherever you live, you might be laughing, going, "It is not spring here. It is still pretty daggone cold," but it is spring here. And what that means for us, real estate wise, is that it's a really good time, if you haven't already, to think about listing your home if you were planning to move, or to think about purchasing a home if you were planning to move. And the reason is that it's kind of a multi-layered thing. So if we talk about the new construction and how much new construction is happening around here, the builders have been prepping their inventory. So as spring approaches, they're going to have more quick move-ins available for you. So the housing market is going to have more opportunity for you. The builders are not dumb. They're not new to this. So they understand when the typical highs and lows are in the real estate market, just as far as foot traffic. Remember, where we live here in Disney's backyard is always a magical place. It's always kind of busy. There's just times, I always say the baseline is busy, right? Baseline is busy. During the busier seasons for most people, it's kind of insane. But we're always pretty active here. It does slow down during the holidays, but people are still buying, people are still selling. It just slows down. And that I say was probably the majority of people's typical real estate market. But the builders have been prepping their inventory and their quick move-ins. That's right. Quick move in so that they'll have some homes on hand for people who are looking to move here but don't want to wait the 10 to 12 months to build a home. They want something that's already prepped and ready. And remember, purchasing a new construction home does not mean that that new construction home is necessarily complete right now. The builders want to get these homes under contract before they are completed because remember, the builder is only paying taxes on the unimproved property. Even while the home is being improved, while the construction and the build process is happening, it's still unimproved property. So the taxes are based on that vacant land. The day that that home is completed and the county issues the home that certificate of occupancy is when the builder pays the taxes on the property just like you or I would, and they don't want to do that. So they are going to list that home for sale sometimes months and months and months and months ahead of when the home is actually scheduled to be completed. So you can contract on that home even if there's 4 months left of construction still to happen. You can contract on it and then you close on it when that home is complete. So spring is in the air, meaning that builders are prepping their inventory so that they're going to have more opportunity for you. It's also, again, a time where you see a lot more buyers out looking. Almost every one of these holiday weekends, and we have so many of these 3-day weekends, usually at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are coming in town looking for their home because they would like to move over the summer. Again, not everyone has kids. School year is not a priority for many people, but for many people it is. It's not for everyone, I guess, but for many people it is. Excuse me. So they're looking to find something that will be ready for them to kind of make that transition, whether they're moving from Florida to another spot in Florida, just down the street, another county, another area, or if they're moving out of state, remembering that our schools start in August, where some schools don't start until after Labor Day in September, that sometimes will expedite, it'll kind of hurry up the process for a lot of people. So that's kind of where we are. Now that it is February, it's kind of like that nugget. February, March, April is going to be crazy busy. And so as we approach the summer months, when we are into May, June, July, things get a little bit more harried because now people are running out of time. So these next 5 months, 6 months are going to be very busy. So think about you. And if you are thinking of selling or if you are thinking of buying or moving here, this really is the right time to start that process, to go ahead and start thinking about it. So, by the way, don't forget, I always forget to remind you, if you have questions and stuff, pop those in. I just want to make sure I said hello to a lot of people that I missed. I think I left off at Fanny. I think Kim popped in. Hi, Kim. Susan Forsgren and Maddie popped in. Yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sydney, Enchanted Nomads. Kathleen, Shafiq. Okay, Shafiq, I have to tell you, God bless you, my friend. Shafiq is our buddy, and we all have a passion for Liverpool football. And Eric and Shafiq hit it off right away because they both love Liverpool. Our boys love Liverpool. I watch and root for them, but I'm not as invested in it as the boys are. But we're a big soccer family, big football family. And Shafiq sent us Eric, the most beautiful, I don't know where it is. I think I put it up in the media room because that's where I thought Eric would want it. The YNWA. Shafiq made this, it's like a street sign size. You made that, right, Shafiq? And it says YNWA, which is You'll Never Walk Alone, which is Liverpool. And I just have to tell you, it got here, unfortunately, right after Eric had passed. But I know he knows, and we will make sure that is always proudly displayed. And that was just such a thoughtful gift. They kind of have that. Oh, there it is. Perfect. They have this great relationship. We have met in person. This is what Shafiq made for Eric. Right, Shafiq? Again, I keep saying you made it, and I'm almost positive you did. You did? Yes, I did. Perfect. Yeah, I know. Sorry. If I don't have my glasses on, I can't see the chat. If I put my glasses on, then it's a mess. Anyway, so Shafiq made this, and I have to tell you, it's absolutely amazing. It's got the Liverpool logos, the YNWA. This is an absolute treasure, and we will have that in a place of honor, to honor you and to honor Eric and to honor your relationship and your friendship that honestly was cultivated just over this. You know, like you guys have become our family, our extended family in so many ways. And we just appreciate and love you dearly. Okay, so spring has sprung. That's kind of what we're talking about. So for those of you that are thinking about it, this is really a good time. I would say if you're thinking of listing your home in July, it might be a little bit too late to get a lot of hot activity here, but it's definitely a time to start that process and to start thinking about it. All right, so the second topic is, does perfect exist? Now, let's think about people. So we're talking about houses, but you have to think about, what is perfect to you? That may not be perfect to somebody else. That doesn't matter. What is it that you want? And does that house exist? Does that house exist that has all of those boxes checked off for you? And a lot of the boxes that need to be checked off sometimes you can't have one because you don't have another. Like, for instance, let's say your budget is $500,000 and what you want is actually going to cost $750,000. Well, maybe the perfect home exists, but maybe it doesn't exist in your budget. Or maybe that home exists, but maybe not in the area that you were hoping for. Sometimes that home just doesn't exist at that time. How many times I have had a client go, oh my gosh, there was this house, it was available like last spring and it was perfect, and we're just so sad it's not still there. Well, remember we talk about emotional energy. And if you're looking for a home last year, but you really weren't ready to move, that sometimes is going to muddy the process a little bit, because you're going to see homes that might have existed in that time in that market that don't exist now. Doesn't mean you can't look and have fun with it, but it is kind of hard when you see something that you feel like would have been perfect, but you weren't ready. Well, guess what? It wasn't perfect then, because all of those planets need to align for you to have the right house at the right time. So what I need people to do, what's good for you and your mental health as you go through the house hunting process, is to create your list. I know we've talked about this before, but it is worth repeating. When Eric and I were first moving here to Florida for the first time, we had a list of the absolute, we have to have this. Like, we have to have this. This is not something that we are willing or able, based on our family, to compromise on. We have 4 kids plus us. So a 3-bedroom house was not going to work for us, right? So things that you absolutely have to house and shelter your family. Those are the things that you want to make sure that you focus on. And what are the things that are negotiable? Some people are like, nope, I absolutely have to have a bonus room. I've got all these kids. We have to have a place where the kids can congregate and they can play their games, can play board games, they can have friends over, they can hang out. Maybe that's a non-negotiable for you. Maybe a 3-car garage is something that you really, really want. But you could do with the 2. The 3 would be great. That would be lovely. But maybe that doesn't exist, but the rest of the boxes get checked off. So it's really important to kind of to take stock of what it is. By the way, things happen all the time. Like, I can't show you this, but like there's just like all these cords over here, and one of these little connectors or something, it has, you can see Eric wrote his name, Eric, on it. And it's like little things like that happen to me all day. I'm like, oh, there's Eric. So take stock of what it is that you have to have in your home, and make sure that you kind of give yourself columns. If you're a spreadsheet person, do a spreadsheet. These are the non-negotiables. I have to have this in order for the house to function for my family. You know what? It would be great to have an office space, but I don't have to have an office. I work on my laptop anyway. So if I can't get an office and there's not an extra space in the home that I could designate as that, like maybe there's a dining room but no office, and you're like, well, I could just use the dining room as my office, then make note of that. Have that in your mind so that when you... Dogs. So it's okay, Lala. It's fine. But take stock of that and make note of what actually is going to matter most to you when you're looking at the home. Because I promise you, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that house is perfect. Darn it, the backyard is not great. I really need a good backyard because I need the kids to be able to run around and play. Or, oh my gosh, that view is spectacular. The backyard is amazing. It's got this huge lanai. Everything is fantastic. Darn it, it's missing one bedroom though, and there's no extra space. So you have to be able to make note of that and just kind of understand going into it on the onset, what are the most important boxes to be checked, and do they get checked? And then from there, we can see how many others we can check off. And I think if you go into it with that, it will be very helpful because as much as, first of all, our goal, my goal, any realtor's goal is to find you the house that you want, the one that is going to check off all those boxes for you. That's our goal. That's our hope. That's our dream, but it sometimes doesn't exist. And you may let another opportunity pass that is near perfect for your continued search of the perfect. So just again, I guess basically it's manage your own expectations and communicate that with your realtor, with your agent, as to what are those absolutely most important, pieces of your home that you need to have. So anyway, all right. So I see. Yes, Jane. I love this. Jane said that Easton is doing the breaking news. I love it. Yes, 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 yes. He is. Enchanted Nomads. This is a good reminder to hold the hand of the people you love. Shafiq, cold and wet here in London. Yes, Jane, asking about Rob. Rob, is Rob on?
He is.
Rob, how are you? Yes, please keep us updated. Please, 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 please. And then Gary. Gary, by the way, we've got some showings on your house, my friend. I'll follow up with you. I think we had one yesterday. It was a good one. They liked it a lot. They're going to let me know. Anyway, I'm just kind of scrolling through. Oh, Rob says, kind of worried. Me and Eric had the same condition. Well, Rob, remember, I don't know exactly, kind of what you have going on, and you certainly do not have to share all of that. But I always like to remind people that part of what Eric had was the biggest thing, that the real, the critical thing was the PSC, the primary sclerosing cholangitis. That was what was shutting his liver down, and that was why he needed the transplant. The cancer was another piece of it. We were not going to be able to beat the cancer, so it was never about getting rid of the cancer. It was always about keeping it small enough and contained to that common bile duct so that they would be able to have removed the liver and given him a transplant so that we could have removed not just the liver, but the cancer itself because it was contained. But don't worry, Rob, you've got a whole team of people here. They're going to be, excuse me, rooting for you too. But you can always share what you want to share. And if you want to chat with me privately, separately, I'm always happy to do that too. And then, oh, Shafiq says, how do you think I feel? My son turned 25 on the 7th of January, and on the 8th of January, Eric passed away. On the 9th, it was my birthday. Oh, what a sandwich. Shafiq, what an emotional few days for you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to your son. And, but there was a positive sandwich, except the middle was not so great. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's still a process here in our household. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't take much to get me going again, so that's why I'm trying to not talk about it right now. All right, let's go to our third brewing topic, which is spring cleaning, and I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. So, okay, spring cleaning. All right, so this, I love it how I have notes over here, and I haven't looked at them once. But now I'm going to look at them because I have a whole list for you. So when we're going to talk about spring cleaning, what I'm referencing, first of all, yes, it's time to empty out your mug cabinet. Sure. It's time to look underneath of your sink cabinets and thin that out and maybe reorganize. Sure. It's time to empty out your pantry and reorganize that. Sure. It's time to purge clothing or clean closets. Of course. But what I'm talking about is really more about the home, because that's what we're talking about, real estate, things that you need to do to your home, not just the function and the organization of living in your home, as Easton agrees. It's about doing some of the maintenance that you need to do on your home, and spring is a really good time to do that. Once the weather warms up, set aside a weekend, If you've got a 3-day weekend, even better. You can use some of that time to tackle some of these projects. So kind of what I'm talking about is, again, but we aren't really referencing the purging, the reusing, repurposing, recycling, donating, selling, not that type of stuff. You can do that. But what I'm talking about are the other things. For instance, if it's a beautiful day, it's time to rethink your landscaping. It's time to weed if you haven't been weeding. It's time to remulch if you haven't been mulching. It's time to edge, maybe get rid of some of those plants that didn't make it through the winter. Go ahead and make the landscaping look good and fresh and clean. That really will make a difference for your property. And it makes a difference even if you're not thinking of selling your home. This isn't so much about selling it. It's about just you doing what you need to do. We talk about it all the time. There is required homeowner maintenance. You don't think about that when you buy your home if it's a resale, but if you go new construction and you do those walkthroughs with the builders, they are very clear. You have to do this to your home. You can't call us a year from now and complain about this and you never once changed your air filter. There is required maintenance that you have to do. So buying a home is not just a huge financial responsibility and a commitment, but it's also a responsibility to maintain it. So that's what we're talking about. So one of them, and that's kind of a fun one. I remember, I don't know that I thought it was fun at the time, but I do remember our little house in Virginia Beach, Virginia, when I was growing up. We lived on a corner, and my mom she liked to garden. I mean, it wasn't something that she did every day, but I know that she enjoyed it. She enjoyed having her hands in the soil and the earth. And I remember her teaching me how to pull weeds and how to plant the flowers, the digging the hole and the breaking up the roots and the putting them down and blah, blah, blah. And I remember the weeds. I would just snatch it. And then she's like, no, you have to dig down in the root. You want to pull the whole root out. So I remember that. And it's a fond memory. Like I said, now I look back and I was like, what a great moment with my mom that we were just, getting all dirty in the earth. And at the time, again, I probably thought it was a chore, but that was a great memory. So doing things like that with your family, with your kids, going to your Lowe's or your Home Depot or wherever you get your flowers from, a nursery somewhere, having a family day, go out there and weed and replant and edge, just kind of spruce it up. And I guarantee you, when you drive up to your house the next time, you're going to have this light heart and it's going to go, oh, my house is so pretty. So that's one thing to do. The second one is about those plants. This is a tip that our landscaper said, and I want everyone to hear this because I think it is really, really, really smart. He had said that on the edge of your house, a lot of people don't have landscaping on the sides of their homes here in Florida. I don't know where you live. It could be completely different. But what you want to do is to make sure that you don't put a bed of mulch against the side of your house. Not just mulch by itself. If you want to do shrubs with mulch, that's fine. If you want to do plants with mulch, that's fine. But mostly you want something up against the side of your house that has roots to help absorb the water when it rains. Because otherwise, especially here in Florida, when we get those torrential downpours in our rainy season, almost always that water is going to collect on the sides of the houses. Now, yes, it is graded like this, so it's going to kind of go down eventually, but when it comes fast and furious, it just doesn't drain fast enough. And because of that, you want to make sure that the water has somewhere to go. So you want those roots to suck that up, and you want it to be absorbed. With the mulch, it just kind of sits there, and then it kind of gets stuck. So now it's sitting against the foundation of your house. So that is another thing you can think about doing. Oh, I didn't really know that. You know what? Our landscaping project this year is to create some flower beds along the side of the home and plant some shrubs, and let's suck up that excess water when it rains so that we don't have any water or moisture along the sides of our house. Yes, I know, Daisy. Another one is HVAC maintenance. I tell my clients, and I do this, he agrees with everything. I love that you agree with everything I'm saying. Mommy's coming back. Is he coming back? He's smiling. He's so stinking cute. Your HVAC maintenance. One of the things that I tell my clients is to go ahead and set up a maintenance program with your HVAC company. Basically, you'll pay for that for a year, however long you want to do it. You can extend it, but they'll come out twice and they will do a thorough maintenance of your unit. Remember, monthly, you're supposed to be changing that filter. You're supposed to be, flushing that condensation line and make sure that that stays clean and flushed. That's on a monthly basis. But you do want like every 6 months someone to come out that, a big HVAC person who's really going to get up in there and make sure that everything is clean, everything is working properly. They'll go out to the exterior unit, make sure that's working properly. By the way, talking about that landscaping, make sure that you don't have landscaping that's like kind of growing in and around that HVAC unit or that exterior unit. You want to make sure that there's air around that. I see that a lot. It's almost always something comes up on an inspection report. So if you're trying to sell your home, go ahead and trim that stuff up around that. That's going to save you an item on that list. So anyway, so HVAC unit, get that serviced. Make sure it's in good working order. You just probably went through the winter. It was probably on the heat mode. As you prep it for the AC mode coming up in the spring and summer, go ahead and have a good thorough maintenance done on that. Also, I did not know this until a few years ago, but you should be draining your water heater once a year. Did you know that? You're supposed to drain it. If you notice on your water heater, I'm not talking about necessarily the tankless water heater, but the typical water heater, there's like the little hose bib type thing. There's the little thing on it, and you put your hose to it, you drain it. Follow on a YouTube to how to do it properly. Don't take don't just do it that way. Make sure you look up at how to do it properly. We have done that. Eric did it last year for us. But you are supposed to drain that because water is going to have sediment in there, and at the bottom of your water heater, there's going to be sediment and sludge and things like that that's going to eventually accumulate. And sometimes it can smell like sulfur, and if you don't know what that smells like, it smells like nasty rotten eggs. So you want to make sure that you do the hot water heater maintenance as well. Do that again, spring cleaning. Do these things because it's going to help the larger, more mechanical aspects to help keep the value of your home. All right, I'm going to go to another one. I have so many. These are all good ones. Windows. Make sure that you clean your windows and the window track. Here's the other one, the weep holes. Do you know what weep holes are? Weep, W-E-E-P. Think of them as tear ducts. I know all about tear ducts lately, but that's what is in your window, and even on your sliders, there's little kind of slits. That is to allow the rain, when it comes in through the screen and it hits the glass window, to come down into the track and then to leave the house. If those are clogged with grime and dirt and stuff that just kind of gets flung around out in the air, that's going to block the weep holes. And now the water, when it comes in through the screen, it's going to sit in the tray. Then where's it going to go? If it can't go out through the weep holes, it's going to go down into the sides, and you're going to have moisture down there. So weep holes, these are all important and easy things for you to kind of clean and maintain. Power washing. If you have to power wash, maybe it's a good time to power wash driveways or the sidewalk out in front of your home. Maybe you have to maybe you need to power wash some like mildew that kind of gets in like the green that kind of gets on the front of your home if it doesn't get a lot of sun. Maybe it's your patio area or your front porch. Things like that. Power washes are good. Gutters. Do you have gutters? Do you see how this is not fun stuff? I know this is not fun. It's much more fun, in my opinion, to reorganize my pantry. I would much rather do that than like fix the gutters. But you need to do that. Now, remember where you live. I remember in Virginia, our gutters were always filled with all the leaves and the pine straw that would fall down all the time. Here, we don't have any of that that's falling down, but some people in Florida do have that. So, or even whatever state you live in, make sure you check your gutters. Let's see, what are the other? Stucco cracks. Oh my goodness. Exterior stucco cracks. I'm trying to hurry. He's fine, honey. He is fine. Stucco cracks. We talk about this all the time, people. Filling your exterior stucco cracks is required homeowner maintenance. If you are not going to get a professional painter to come out and fill those cracks and repaint the exterior, then you need to be doing it on a yearly basis. Those cracks are going to stop eventually because it's really more about those first few years as the home settles. But it's going to happen. That's not a defect of the construction. It's part of the settling process and the nature of the stucco itself. So you're going to want to make sure that you fill those stucco cracks with, it's elastomeric. But again, look that up, talk to your local professionals with that. But it is very easy to grab a tube of that and you can fill those cracks. Or if it's time, sometimes it's time, my friends, to get the exterior of the home completely, fill the stucco cracks, reseal windows, and then repaint. In fact, I'm actually getting ready to do that to our house. We've only been here 3 years, but I would like to do that because it's time to do that. It's every 3 to 5 years. I'd like to be proactive instead of reactive. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done sooner rather than later. Okay, now this is one of my favorites. Kim Sokolsky says they don't mind the baby noises at all. Oh, that's so sweet. This is my favorite one for right now because I just did this myself. So as I was going through the space over there, there is kind of like a little mini office. We had a lot of stuff, just paperwork, and just kind of stuck in that little pocket office area. And I had come across my coupon from Sherwin-Williams for a free gallon of paint, which reminded me, I should go get my gallon of paint. So, and the reason I wanted to do that is because when we had the big room over there, we did the big fireplace wall treatment, and we did all the trim work up the wall. We got the paint color and the sheen and all of that from the original painter that did the interior of our home right after we purchased it. Like the day we purchased it, the painter was out here repainting the entire interior because builder grade paint is a hot mess. So I reached out and I wanted to get the exact one. And so I was like, well, I'll use my free gallon of paint to do that. So I got my free gallon of paint of my my agreeable gray by Sherwin-Williams. Cashmere, I think, is the thing that we did. And I just poured a little bit, and I walked around my house and I had so much stinking fun the other day. And I've got my little paintbrush. I'm like, oh, there's a little scuff. Oh, there was a little, ding on the corner. You know how the corners of your walls always get little dings from moving furniture or something? I'm like just touching up everything everywhere. It was so stinking satisfying. I had so much fun. That really is something that you should do. Take the time. I know that you guys probably go to the bathroom, and every time you're in the bathroom, you see that one spot on the wall. Every freaking time you're like, I really need to fix that, or I need to fix that little ding in the wall, or I need to cover that scuff. Now's the time to do that. Go grab a gallon of paint. It doesn't even have to be a gallon. Just go get a pint of paint, get your paintbrush, and then literally just have fun walking around the house. Make sure, though, you test a spot, let it dry, make sure you have the exact color match, the exact sheen, all of that, so that you don't have a bunch of polka dots where you touched up things, but it wasn't the right color. Been there, done that. Anyway, so that's one of mine. And then the last couple are do the things that you've been putting off. If you have a fence that needs to be repaired, if there's a screen door that doesn't like to latch, take time and fix it. Replace the light bulbs, and most importantly at this point, do the batteries in your smoke detectors. Make sure that you do that. That is important to do at least twice a year, but definitely on a good year, or once a year. All right, so I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to do something that's not talking. So what should I go to, Allie? Let's go to You know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do cup. Okay, so my cup is full. In addition to Shafiq's birthday, my birthday is also in January. It was on January 30th. My son Forrest, his was on the 27th. But on the 30th, it was just really, really, really sweet. I had a lot of people reaching out and just making me feel extra special. It was definitely not a birthday I was looking forward to. I wasn't excited to celebrate it by myself. I wasn't excited to think about what my 57th year is going to be like by myself. But it was really lovely to have so many people send me just little text messages or little Facebook messages or little notes here and there, some flowers, balloons. I got, my goodness, we have some chocolate covered strawberries and bananas and apples in there, and cakes and flowers. And it just, seriously, it was very, very sweet. So I appreciate that all very much. So that my cup is running over and we are still to this day getting all sorts of wonderful messages and stories about how Eric either touched you in your life and somehow, whether it was you knew him from a long time ago, or if it's just, you got to meet him while we were out showing houses, or if his quirky personality has just is ingrained in your brain. Every time you drive past Hamlin, you can't help but sing the Hamlin song. And on that note, I'm going to do this so that I can hear his voice again.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
See, that's Eric's voice. That was him singing. So at least we get to have him with us for that every time. I had to think of a word just so I could hear it. All right. So flood disclosure. Okay. This is important because this is a new required document in Florida. Now, it is not your flood zoning. Okay, we've talked about flood zones before. This is just a disclosure that we now have to have signed by the seller, and it simply states whether or not the seller has made an insurance claim based on any flood claims that they may have made. It's another piece of paper in the packet of things that we have to sign. Buyer doesn't even need to sign it, but they do like to see it. So what I do is I have my seller sign it, and then I upload it into the MLS. And then if that person wants to make sure that their buyers initial it, that's great. But there's not a signature or an initial spot for the buyer, but it is something that is required for us to have in the file. So for those of you that might be thinking, like the first time it was required, I forgot it was required, so I had to go back and send it separately. So that is a new disclosure that we have. So again, it's not about your flood zone. It's about whether or not you've made an insurance claim by any flood having happened. Anyway, so that's a good one. Okay, so let me see. I see all of this stuff. Amy says, for me, it was your chemistry and how funny he is. Yeah, I have to tell you, we were not short of laughter in this house for many, many, many reasons. Yeah, he definitely, he made me laugh. Everyone's like, chicken wars. Everyone keeps talking about that one. And that makes me laugh too. I go back. I have a hard time. I think at some point I will go back and watch some of those videos. One of the videos I need to do, Alyssa's going to help me with that, is, he had started the YouTube series. He only had a couple of videos up. I don't even know how many it was, maybe 3, maybe 4, just kind of going through what it was like from when they had the port placed in, when he was going to have to start chemo. What is it like to have a port implanted? And then the first, couple times that we were going in for chemo, I say we, and he did it. It was all him. It was just me being there with him. He had to carry all of that. But and I still, even to this day, I keep saying we all the time, like, we'll see you soon. I'm like, I'll see you soon. But I think, for that, I might need to do a closure video and kind of explain what happened. Part of the reason he didn't do another video after that, and part of the reason he wasn't on Coffee Time, he didn't have a voice. His voice, it was so bad after, oh gosh, which time was it? There was a time where he went and had more of the stents replaced, because the ones that they had put in, they'd replaced them once with a bigger one, and then when we went back in, they were going to add a third, and those had migrated, so they pulled those out, and and it was after that procedure, he kind of never really got his voice back. And I don't know that it had anything to do with the procedure itself. I'm certainly not implying that, but he couldn't speak, and it drove him absolutely crazy. This man who would always talk and laugh and joke and sing. It's like if something could go right, if he could have at least had a voice, he would have felt better. If he at least could have eaten something and had no voice, he would have felt better. If he could have been strong and moved around and had no voice and not be able to eat, he would have felt better. But it was just like everything just kind of pile right on top of him. But okay, so I want to move on. I don't see any questions, Allie. If you see anything, let me know, because I'm just trying to keep on talking here. All right, I'm going to go to Baby, because Easton is very upset that we're not paying attention to him. Oh, these are the babies. So that one of Easton coming with his messy face. So there's Elsie in her high chair. They're at Mimi and Poppy's. And then there's Easton with his messy face. We were laughing that day because Elsie was so clean and Easton was a hot mess. Just so cute, so stinking cute. But yeah, look at them sitting up in their high chairs and eating their snacks and their food. I love the pictures in the middle too. Allie said she just took that one of Easton up top, and I'm like, that just looks like a model photo. Like he should be in like ads. And then Elsie, I think Elizabeth took that one when they were on a stroll or something, but she had on a new little outfit I bought her. But her eyes, if you can see her eyes in that, they just go kapow with that like periwinkle. I've got that same color on today, Miss Elsie. But they are stinking cute. They are babbling clearly. They're saying mama and they're saying dada, but they're saying more like mama 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 dada dada. But we don't know if they are associating it with the person yet, but I think they are. I don't know. I don't know. But they're super cute. I love them so much. All right. Anyway, so there's your baby update. We wanted to make sure. Was there a baby full, Allie? That was it, right? That was it. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to go on to Scoop. We're going to get you guys out of here on a Monday morning. Okay, so this is what's exciting. So the scoop is that the Silverleaf community at Hamlin's Silverleaf Reserve, which is the Meritage section, their amenity center has opened. Yay. So they have a pool. I drove by it. My pictures didn't turn out great. And honestly, I didn't want to be like a creeper because there were some people beside the pool that were playing either pickleball or tennis. I don't know which because I didn't want to stare. But there's like a little tennis court right beside the pool that has like cabanas and chairs and bathrooms. And then there's like a little basketball thing there too. But anyway, it's open now. So that's really exciting for those residents there to finally have, especially as the weather does start to warm up and people are going to be using that amenity center here very soon. So timing was pretty good on that. So very excited about that one. And speaking of houses, we're going to talk about the listings. I know that with everything going on with Eric and not doing coffee time, I've still been working. Lots have still been happening. So we're going to kind of go over some of that. So these are the current listings that I have. There is, here's the thing. The Alcott one story went on the market on Friday and it went pending yesterday. Woo, woo, cash offer. This house is amazing. I love it. This is actually in the Silverleaf community. There's extra space beside it. If you see that extra the extra easement there that's to the right of it, looking at it, and it's a beautiful kind of a pond view back behind it. So that one went on the market on Friday and it went under contract. And when I say Friday, it went on the market like Friday late afternoon because we're waiting to get the pictures back. So that one went on the market Friday and it is already under contract. The second home also went on the market on Friday. This is in Waterley. So by the way, the Alcott one story was in Horizon West. It was here in Horizon West area in Winter Garden. The Torrey is in the community of Waterley. Probably my favorite community of anywhere. It's just so well done and so well thought out. This is a beautiful 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath home. One of my favorite things about this is that downstairs there is a bedroom and a full bath. It's not an ensuite, but a bedroom, a full bath right beside it, and there's a powder bath. So you really do have the opportunity to make that downstairs bedroom someone's private bedroom with their private bathroom because you still have that powder bath. And the other great thing about this particular one is that there's no rear neighbor. You can kind of see the trees behind it. And right behind that house, framed perfectly, are the Disney fireworks. Every single night, right from your own backyard, you can see the Disney fireworks. Absolutely amazing. The next one, Hawksmoor, one story. This one is also an amazing home. This one is also in Horizon West. This one, there's no side neighbor there to the left. And there's a beautiful view of like a tree farm kind of back over there. And it is just down the street from the amenity center. So very quick and easy to get to the amenity center and utilize that. Bottom left-hand corner, there's a lovely one story in Groveland. This is the one that I was just saying we had a showing. I think it was yesterday. Remember, I don't know my days. I'm on cuckoo. Somebody was very interested in it, so we're going to follow up and see if maybe they're ready to submit an offer. We have a downtown Davenport. We have a townhome that is on the market. What I like about that townhome is that it has something that you don't often see in townhomes. It has a bedroom on the first floor with a full bath, which is really, really nice because most townhomes, all the bedrooms are going to be upstairs. That one that's a winner. It's also an opportunity for you to use it as an investment property if you choose, as well as the other one. This is actually, I wrote Davenport, but I apologize. It's actually Groveland. This is a villa that is in Groveland, and there's so a villa, it's like a duplex, right? You got two houses side by side. So this is another great investment opportunity. That is in a gated community, by the way. So it's a great little spot, very close actually. The one in Groveland and the one on the opposite end where it says Davenport Villa, those are actually very close to each other. I apologize, but that one is actually in Groveland. Anyway, so if you're interested in any of those, let me know. We've got more coming. And don't forget, if you're looking to purchase here, take a look at these because these are some great options for you as well. All right, so I'm going to hit wishes, and then I'm almost done because I have to tell all these people, and I bet I forgot some, how many people have had some major things happening over this past month. All right, so these are some of the people we would like to wish wishes to. Tiffany and Jessica, I'm not sure. I know that I mentioned them before because we got their home under contract in 4 days, I believe it was, also here in Horizon West, but they have officially closed. So I wanted to give them a shout out, hug and a mug, that they actually closed. Sam and Lynn also closed on their beautiful home. Marcia just closed on a beautiful condo. Lydia and Rio closed on their new home. Rishi and Piali, they also closed on their home. Marie and James closed on their home, and Elizabeth and Steele just went under contract. So a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be happy for. If I missed anybody, all I can do is ask your forgiveness because I did my best to try to remember. It's just been a little bit cuckoo, obviously, but we have a lot of closings coming up. I've got quite a few clients in the Oasis community that are going to start to like domino as closings, and actually Sam and Lynn already did. So now it'll be like a little bit of a domino effect of everybody closing on their homes there. So I'm really excited about that. So lots going on there. And then I guess one of the last things is what I'm watching. Okay, so I am watching The Traders. I think this is, it does say it's on Peacock. I was like, I think it's on Peacock. So this is, I've watched the ones on Netflix where you could watch the whole season. This one is a season that is still happening now, so I have to wait till every Thursday to watch the new episode. But I really love this. It's a fun reality show. Alan Cumming is amazing. And I have to tell you, the first time, I think he hosted another season, and at first he was so different than the UK host originally, and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. And then I like gave myself a little bit of time, and then I watched it. I was like, he is freaking amazing. Of course he's amazing. He's amazing anyway. But at any rate, so if you're looking for a kind of a fun reality show, all these people are in this castle, and they are kind of housed there. Now, this particular season, I don't really like it when they do this, but this one's okay. Where they take other reality show celebrities, winners, or standout personalities, and then they put them in the house together. And so these are all the participants or the contestants, I guess, in the show. So you've got some people that were from Big Brother, some people from Survivor, some people from like The Housewives, some people from, I don't know, like The Amazing Race or something like that. So if you are a big reality show fan, this might be a good one for you. You get to see some familiar faces in a different scenario. And just because you were really good on one show doesn't mean you're really good on this one. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Anyway. All right. So, yes, Jay says Alan is so over the top. Yeah. So if you watch the very first season, it was a woman that was hosting. That was the first time I'd ever seen the show. So I didn't really know kind of what to expect. And so I guess because I saw her first, that was my level of what I was expecting. That was the bar. And then when I started to watch the next season, and it was Alan, it was just so different. And I was like, I don't know. But Allie actually explained it, because when I told her about it, she's like, he's just, sorry. Allie's like, he's a character. He has embedded himself as a character in this show. And as soon as she said that, it clicked. I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's not trying to be weird or anything. He's a character in the show, and he's flipping amazing. So watch that if you are bored. Claudia, yeah, the UK one. Yeah, I don't know like who she is, if she's a celebrity of some sort. I didn't know who she was, but But yeah, oh good. I'm so glad that, oh my gosh, all you guys watch this. Okay, this is good. This is making me happy. So Sydney, yes, Sydney, you do need to watch this. Yeah, this is good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I thought it was this kind of obscure little reality show, but glad to see that that other people watch it too. Very good. All right, I think my new friend, not my new friends, you're my old friends. We like go way back. I think we did it. I think we did our first coffee time live, actually live, since Eric passed, and I think it went off sort of without a hitch. Here's going to be the test. If when I click end, if it actually stops recording. So we have one more hurdle, but you'll forgive me, right? Anyway, guys, I do want to thank you again for everything. And please keep joining in. I know that it's not as much fun without Eric here. I know, I get it. He definitely was my sidekick. He was the comedy relief in there, and I know it's just kind of me, and I'm a little boring in that regard. But you are a part of our family, and I hope you will continue to be a part and to join in and to share your stories and share a little bit of your time on Mondays with us, because it really does mean the world to me. So thank you for that. And Eric thanks you as well. He's here with us, and we love you dearly. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up because I know where that button is. So as always, guys, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. Don't forget, next week we're going to try to do this again live. We did it once, so now there's no excuse. I just have to learn to do it myself. But don't forget, save up your questions. We have a lot to talk about, lots of stuff happening in the real estate market here. And if nothing else, we just like to check in and touch base and see how everybody's doing. So you guys all have a wonderful week. Remember, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and happy house hunting. Bye.